How's it going, everybody? It sure has been a while. Things have been very busy for me, and I've had to take a brief hiatus from this draft league. But I'm back, and my life has changed. I'm graduated, I'm married, and I have a job. Not in that order, but things are awesome. Um, but it's been really rough for me in the past, and that's why I had to take a long break. But I'm back now. I'm free over the summer, so I can devote more time to this. So yeah, here we are with our week 7 match against the Golden State Wartortles. We're both 3-3, in case you forgot, because I know you did. This is the final match before playoffs. Next week is the playoffs. The way that things have shaken out is it's really funny because no matter what happens in this match, we are going to face each other in the first round of playoffs once again. So this match is purely for standings placement. It doesn't actually influence any of the future matches beyond that. So I'm not super trying hard on this. I still want to win, of course. This is like kind of like some Joker set, if you will. But it's mostly just a excuse for me to get reacclimated into Showdown because I haven't touched it in a few months. Um, so yeah, let's get started. So first off, we have Colossal. This is probably my most Joker set out of all of them, but it's also unironically might be my best set for this week, just because of how severely weak to Palafin my team is. In the initial draft phase, Palafin scared me a lot, so I drafted Bauninia the Houndstone to help me with that with its fluffy ability, but I've since gotten rid of that because I valued Toadscruel more and now I must pay the consequences for it. Um, Terra Water Colossal might genuinely be my only Palafin answer. Literally nothing I have, quote unquote, switches into it. Um, so I do have to play extremely carefully around it. It's even worse because everything is exacerbated with Pelipper. Putting rain in the mix just makes things even harder. Um, this is what I've decided to cook. And lots of cooking have I done indeed. The idea here is basically turn one, we lead this thing, and we instantly Terra Water instead of Stealth Rock, so that now we're a water type and we can switch into Palafin much more easily. Hopefully, we can tank a water attack and then proc our steam engine ability, so we get a +6 speed boost, and also absorb bulb to give us a special attack boost. It's a single use thing, so I might have to time it carefully. I'm not sure. Um, this is kind of a throw item, not gonna lie, but I did want to showcase it at least once because like nobody knows that it exists. Um, if I decide to go with Terra Water Colossal again, I promise I'll bring a more useful item, but this is just funny. Um, but yeah, if I lead this and he leads Palafin, for example, just to get the flip turn off, I can Stealth Rock and Terra Water and then just eat the flip turn and then I get a free Steam Engine boost. Um, versus Pelipper lead, that's also likely. I could potentially do the same thing and hope it just U-turns, but just to get the Terra Water off so I don't have to worry about it later. The problem is if it's an offensive Pelipper and it decides to click Hurricane turn one because that could be rough, but surely it sees the juicy Rock and Fire Pokemon in front of it and decides to click the funny water move frame one. But we'll see. Big problem with Colossal is that it can't recover at all. But anyways, I am not done cooking because the Absorb Bulb is just the beginning. We get a special attack boost after we tank the Wave Crash, and then if the rain is up, we could go for the Sunny Day, and then we could hit him with a nice and juicy Solar Beam. It's a roll to 2-hit KO Palafin, not gonna lie, but like it is still fat damage and is really funny to watch. Um, the 92 speed EVs lets me outspeed even Scarf Primate after the Steam Engine proc, so like maybe we can sort of get some stuff going. Maybe Cinderace comes in, we could Power Gem that, I don't know, or Pelipper at least. Um, I originally had Flamethrower on there for Magnezone, but Magnezone is either not coming in against me, or it is coming in the position where I can't really do anything to it, so there's not really much point. Figured Stealth Rock is better just to give me an excuse to be in their turn one in Stealth Rock. Yeah, that's basically it for this. Next up is Slowking. This is my best attempt at a Cinderace switch-in. I think Pyro Ball from non-Terra, non-Sun does like a little less than half to us. We do have to be careful though because of setting up the Sun, because that could help the Cinderace out a lot. We do have to be very careful of that. Um, this is also pretty solidly good into Amoonguss as well. We have safety goggles on to block spores. All that we really fear from it is Stomping Tantrum, which will hurt a lot after the spore fails, inevitably, which I'm not expecting it to carry Stomping Tantrum, but it could. The main idea behind this is to basically just keep firing off feature sites whenever you can, just to get offensive pressure going. If we want to crack Amoonguss, we pretty much have to utilize feature sight in some way. We could do it with our next Pokemon, but I think this is the easiest way to do it. Sludge Bomb is fine into like Terra Fairy Cresselia, and it also just gives us a stab option that takes one turn to execute. Toxic can whittle down scary foes like Palafin or Cinderace or Cresselia. And then Chilly Reception helps us pivot out of a scary situation. Can also turn off the rain if we need to, if we want to bring up snow. And benefits of having snow is it also helps out our next Pokemon, which we'll get into in a second. Basically, we're running a relaxed nature because we speed tie with Amoonguss naturally, and I just want to make sure that we're slower than it so that it can get something off before I Chilly Reception out, so I'm not accidentally switching something else into a Spore. That would be sad. But yeah, another great reason to run Chilly Reception is it boosts Flockless, the Chien-Pao. It's going to be our main DPS Pokemon. Crunch hits it like a truck, hits a lot of things like a truck. Black Glasses is there to boost its power. I could have run Life Orb, really didn't want to chip myself. Didn't bring heavy duty boots because I'm not particularly worried of rocks. His only, or I'll get into that later, but Ice Spinner is a pretty strong ice option. It does enough to Amoonguss that I don't think I need Ice Crash. I'm happy with Ice Spinner as it is. Sacred Sword hits Terra Steel Palafin as well as Magnezone and Beartic, and Ice Shard is a last-ditch priority option. I wanted to run Haze originally to stop a potential Calm Mind Cresselia stuff, but I really couldn't justify it, especially since it could just Terra Fairy and Moonblast me. I have Grafaiite to help out with Cresselia anyway, we gave this thing enough speed to outspeed a Jolly Cinderace, and then the rest went into special defense just to help against a non-Terra Cresselia, because this is our main way of breaking through that, essentially. If it decides to terrestrialize, my strategy is probably going to be some combination of toxicking it and then stalling it out of recovers or lunar blessings, or moonlights or lunar blessings, excuse me. Next up is Corviknight. This thing completely eats Crocodile alive, and it's also pretty solid into Primeape and Beartic. Drain Punch does like a quarter to us, and Rage Fist needs to be at like 250 base power in order to hit KO. Beartic needs a Swords Dance to muscle through, but after a Swords Dance, it very much can muscle through. Shed Shell is on here to stop us from getting Magnet pulled by Magnezone. We're technically faster than the Magnezone, so we could try to U-turn out instead, but we are, if the Magnezone decides to run investment in speed, which I believe it will, then it will be able to outspeed us. Frankly, I'm expecting to just put it on max speed and not think about the EVs too much, but just in case he decides to speed creep us, we've put in 12 EVs and speeds just to avoid that. Doesn't really hurt to put it there, doesn't take away too much from our bulk, and it helps us save us in a situation if we're really in a pinch and we really need to bank on him speed creeping us. Taunt is here to stop bulk up or Calm Mind shenanigans. I think he can bulk up on Primeape or Palafin. He can Calm Mind with Celia. He could Swords Dance with Beartic, for example. Um, Maybe an offensive move is better here overall, but I'm not sure. There's stuff that I don't really expect this thing to like be in for too long. Like it's not really going to be doing damage, right? So I figured I might get more mileage out of taunting. Roost is here for longevity, and then we defog the hazards away. Doesn't He doesn't have much as far as hazards go. I think it's just Stealth Rock on the Primeape and the Crocodile. I'm not expecting to see Crocodile at all, to be honest, but I do want to be safe against hazards anyway, because Chien-Pao is not holding heavy duty boots, and I really don't want it to get chipped. Its HP might be important this match, because it's really hard to just bulk things, basically. But this is what we're going with. Sandy Shocks, this is a solid pivot and a decent Magnezone answer because we're rocking the Assault Vest. We outspeed a non-Scarf Palafin and everything's slower. This is a pretty standard Assault Vest set, I think. Thunderbolt hits the waters, Earth Power hits the Magnezone, Flash Cannon hits the Terra Fairy Cresselia as well as Beartic. And the Volt Switch is mainly there for momentum, excuse me. This is probably the move we're going to be clicking the most. Like I said, I'm not really expecting Crocodile, so Volt Switch should be pretty free here. Thunderbolt is mainly just there for a stronger option if I have to versus Palafin. So really, we should put Volt Switch here and then Thunderbolt down here. Um, Otherwise, like this is mainly just like Palafin. If I'm facing down a Palafin and like I for some reason I'm not expecting it to jet punch, or like I'm in a tough situation, I just want to be faster than it. I could go for the Thunderbolt. Or if I think I'll live a jet punch somehow, I haven't calculated that yet, but I will if it comes down to it, of course. But yeah, enough speed to outspeed Palafin, and everything slower, and then back special attack. Maybe I could move some into special defense, but it doesn't. It's a if a offensive Pelipper decides to Hydro Pump me, it's over. Um, so I can't really like I can't really justify putting a lot into special defense, basically. Lastly is Grafii. This set might look familiar to you all, and I cannot tell a lie. I did steal this from my week 5 team versus Annihilate. The EVs are tweaked, but the set is the same. It's also pretty useful against the Cresselia or a bulking up Palafin. Basically, if there's any setup move we spot, we can encore it, just to make things like, or we could also just use it just to make things more predictable. We could switcheroo a Black Sludge onto some threat to help chip it down over time. We could also Toxic it as well, or other things. Toxic is very useful against Cresselia. Uh, Switcheroo might be too, honestly. If it has like leftovers or something, we can turn its leftovers into anti-leftovers. It does have Lunar Blessing now, to help it recover from Toxics, but that is limited in PP, and it doesn't heal a lot. It only heals 25%. We have Super Fang to get big damage on something. Um, and we made Grafii be faster than Palafin so that our Pranksters can go before its Jet Punch. And then we put the rest in the special defense just because I see this thing facing Cresselia. And it might help there if it gets Calm Minds going. Yeah, that's basically the team. Honestly, pretty scared. Not expecting a W, but maybe we can pull something off. Um, a lot of this is sort of just to understand my opponent so that I'm more prepared to face him next week in playoffs. And yeah, that's basically it. See you in the battle.